In this video, we're going to look at example 1, where we identify inverse variation. So the question is, how do you determine if a relationship represents an inverse variation? And then question A, we want to know if this specific table of values represents an inverse variation. So first thing we need to know is what is an inverse variation, and that's all written out right here. So an inverse variation is a relation between two variables such that as one variable increases, the other decreases proportionally. All right, this is the key word here. Has to be proportionally. Not just one increases, one decreases. It's one increases and one decreases proportionally. So again, keep that in mind. Let's really focus on that part. For the table to represent inverse variation, the product, so we're looking at the product of x and y must be constant. Find the product of x and y for each column in the table. So these are the same table, and all we're looking to do is we're multiplying x times y. So 1 times 12 in this case would be 12. 2 times 6 is also 12. 3 times 4, 4 times 3, 6 times 2, and 12 times 1. So in this case, the product of the values is constant. All right, x, y is always the same. It's 12 throughout that entire chart. So since it is constant, we're going to say that this table of values, is representative, so represents an inverse variation. And again, all we're looking to do here is multiply x times y. You can see that x increases the entire time. You can see that y decreases the entire time. But we do need to make sure that those products are the same, right? And they are. So it has to be, again, proportional throughout. Part B, we're doing the same thing. Does the table of values represent an inverse variation? They give us the numbers 120, so this is the original table they gave us, and then I created this second one with our x, y values. So 1 times 20 would be 20. 2 times 17 is 34. So right away, we know that this is not an inverse variation, but let's just finish the chart anyway. So this would be 42. 4 times 11 would be 44. 5 times 8 is 40, and 6 times 5 is 30. So although x increased and y decreased, it's not proportional. It's not at the same rate, and it's not constant. So in this case, the table of values does not represent. So it does not represent an inverse variation. All right, and that's it. So for example 1, that's all they're looking for you to do is we're trying to take a chart and decide, is this or is this not inverse variation? Multiply x times y for each column in this case, and see if x, y, your product, is constant. If it is, like in part A, then it does represent inverse variation. If it is not constant, like in part B, then it does not represent an inverse variation.